There's a weird melted out something in the snow, except the match to it is straight in line, and it's 36 feet. And the dog just stepped in it. No. Sometimes some things melt out and look odd, but no, there's cracks in here. It's kind of weird. I noticed a couple of those earlier. The shit you see. What do you got here? Anything? Coyotes and deer. Weird. Anyway. Getting higher. Getting close to where I had that antler. I'm just gonna say, found it on the trail, but it's a trail I already walked, and the antler is a couple years old. But anyway, we're getting higher. Adventure puppy's having a blast. Every time we hit a patch of snow, she just wants to jump up in the air and jump all over the place. We're getting up in this boulder area. Old buck sign on trees, and new buck sign down below a little bit. Looks like there's been a handful of deer wintering here. Telltale sign is this droppings on top of snow. And then trying to find an antler in this stuff is like so hard, because everything seems to be the color of antler, dropped antler. But it's like years ago, you think you're blind in the beginning, because it's like years ago somebody came out in that print shop and somebody came up with a weird pattern, same pattern for the whole picture. You have to stand there and gaze at it and gaze at it and gaze at it, and finally you'd see the form of the artwork that was actually hidden in a print. And that's basically what it's like trying to find one antler in this maze of timber in the same color ground. Haven't found one yet. We're gonna see, we're gonna get up to these big fir trees up here, maybe we'll find one. But everything's pretty good so far, except going on the wrong side of the tree. Okay, pup, come on, let's go. I shut the camera off, and 2 seconds later I look at my first big mature fir, and here's my first antler shed. Cool, found one. Tell you what, 9 times out of 10 I'll find them at the bottom of these trees. What's that? What's this? Look at this. Huh? What's this? What's that? Is that what we're looking for? Hey? What's that? You find me one of these? We'll find some more. All right. That's it. All right. Cool. Then I glanced around the tree, and there's another one. Probably the match, I'm guessing. What's that? What's this? What's this right here? Huh? Look at this. 2 of them? No. Oh, no, it's one. Look at that. That's a big buck, hey? Look at that one. What do we got? That's the other side, hey? Let's go take a look at these. All right, hold on. Hold on. Come on, let's get up here. Come on. I've never seen her so excited about shed antlers. Look at that, we found a matching set. Crazy, they're old, but we found them. Okay, hey puppy, look at that. All right, let's find some fresh ones, huh? Does somebody like snow? Hey, come here. Look at that. That was a big angry buck did that one. What do you think? You like the snow? Huh? Do ya? Alright. Let's go get some antlers. Well, we're a little late for that one, weren't we, puppy? Hey? Something laying here a long time. Hey? Over here. Ruby. What's this? What's this? Here. You feeling that? There you go. Holy. Try to do a 360. Well, I don't mean try, but if you could see through the trees the other side of the valley, you'd see where I videotaped those lights that one time. And we got it fairly high today. Didn't quite get as high as I was hoping to get. Oh, still a lot of snow. It's actually snowing about, I don't know, half an hour ago. Trying to find the shed antlers of a specific deer. Well, of two specific deer. And I've been following these two monster bucks for, I don't know, 5 years. I've had a visual, like, eye to eye with one maybe 10 yards from him a few years ago. I actually had a big dead buck on my back. I ran into him. He's standing there looking at me. And, but it's tough. It's tough to find these antlers because the one buck I've tracked him for over 30 kilometers during the winter on trail cameras, and that's all full timbered steep coastal mountains. So they winter so randomly. I'll find antlers. I just found a set earlier from a big mature buck, but they do not do the same thing every year. They just don't. They get up in the morning and they think, what should I do today? So it's literally a needle in the haystack, but sometimes you get lucky, right? Token helicopter. Right over top. Dead over top. What's that? Anyways, we're gonna take a little bit of a break. She's not arguing about laying down, that's for sure. Oh, of course, right when I say it, right? Now, this email is titled, Bigfoot Met Me Bow Hunting. Thought she was gonna lay here and chew her new antler. Steve, I have a chilling story to tell you. It all starts back in 86 or 87, bow season. I've been after a big buck all season, maybe a 185, 190 class buck. Walking the creek bottom for some time in the hemlocks, and it was getting dark in them, so I made it to a clearing about half a mile. Saw a few deer and a couple small bucks, not what I was looking, so I headed to my truck. As I was walking back, next to a farm. Walking back next to a farm, I had a feeling that something wasn't right. So I turned around and I thought it was a bear. It was about 80 yards from me. Hold on. It was about 80 yards from me. There I was standing along a cornfield, and it was in the cut oats field. I had the wind in my face. That when it knew something was in the field, sorry, there's some typos, okay, you guys? I had the wind in my face. That's when it knew something was in the field with it. The animal stood up and started to walk at me. He was about 35 or 40 yards from me now. I said out loud, do not make me use this bow. Now. It stopped, turned around, and walked away from me. It looked like a large logger. And it walked in the cut oats field, then in the tall field corn. I did not let the grass grow under my feet, Steve. The next day I went back to the spot where was in the cut oats. I could not walk in the tracks, and where it enters the corn was 9 feet tall, so that made him 8 feet tall and smaller than the corn. P.S. When I got home, my wife said I was white as a cloud and my eyes were as big as a plate. Thanks, Steve, for letting me tell my story. I believe, Mike in PA. Well, thank you for telling your story, Mike. Kind of shitty when you get a slap in the face, isn't it? Slapped in the face with the reality. Sorry, it's hard to stay completely focused on the phone when I got this dog right beside me, but it's our first time. Sir, I've finally decided to contact you. I learned that you have changed your email address from share my story to tell my story, so I'm trying again. First, at least
3 podcasts, you mentioned a gigantic skeleton being found within a tree. This jogged my memory to a Bigfoot researcher who postulated that they might bury their dead under tree roots. I do not recall his reasoning, but it made me wonder. Is it possible for tree roots to draw up a body into itself? I'm no botanist, but I figured you might know best. Second, I'll spare you my multiple Bigfoot experiences as they add nothing to what has already been shared multiple times. However, I do have an experience to share that I have not heard on your channel. In short, 3 of us were sitting in the woods in pitch dark in a known Bigfoot sighting area. After hours of simply conversing, there was a crack like thunder, and amazingly loud and shocking. I realized it was the sound of live, fresh, large branch being snapped nearby. One friend thought he heard or saw something and bolted off. He later reported he saw a bear on all fours, but I have my doubts as to what he thought he saw. Meanwhile, my other friend and I were standing and looking around when I heard gibberish voices. I asked my companion if he could hear it, and he replied no. I told him to remove his jacket hood and his knit cap, yet he still heard nothing. To me, it was plain as you and I speaking to each other. It sounded nothing like the Sierra sounds. I will describe it, but I suspect your younger listeners may not understand. What I heard sounded exactly like a cassette tape playing at normal speed, and then you press the fast forward button. This is the only example that fits. I cannot describe it any other way. It was not continuous, but would pause intermittently and then begin again, much like someone speaking and pausing. Obviously, this is bizarre. Perhaps another listener has experienced this. Love the channel, John in Oklahoma. And there's a second email. Sir, I forgot to mention these ideas in my initial email. First, did I hear mind speak but could not understand it? I mention this because I'm a high-functioning autistic and my brain is wired much differently than a normal person's. So it crossed my mind that I could have been hearing communication, but my brain could not make sense of it. I'll never know. John, Oklahoma. Well, I wouldn't rule out never, John. As long as everybody keeps coming here and talking and sharing all the knowledge, we just might get those answers and that answer you're looking for, right? Why don't you come over here, goofball? Yeah. Here. Chew on that. Yeah, but you know what? Make sure you... Hold on. Make sure you scan the comment section below, right? Because somebody might chime in for you and be able to relate or let you know that they heard the exact same descriptive sound that you did. Sounds pretty bizarre, doesn't it? Now, let's get another one shared while we're sitting here. I was ready for it. We've been going straight up all morning. Hi, Steve. Happy New Year. Just heard you read Ruben's encounter on Highway 50, California. I believe I was driving the Dodge Dually in front of him. The time frame's right, although he never stated a specific date. Just a nearly 30 years ago reference. Wow. I was on my way up to Kirkwood, my favorite haunt in the Tahoe Basin, and not quite to Twin Bridges. The car in front of me braked and slowed to the right shoulder. In that car's light, I saw a huge dark figure on 2 feet at the roadside, and then it leaped forward and crossed the highway in what I would call frog leaps. 3 of them to clear the entire roadway. I somehow stopped, and I somehow stopped, and in dumbfounded stupor, watched it regain 2 feet as it crossed the far side of the embankment. Oncoming traffic had stopped as well. I don't recall how many vehicles, but multiple. All freaked, I'm sure. This being then scaled the face of a granite that could be blasted out during roadway construction. This is the part you asked about after sharing his story. After transition from frog leap back to bipedal, there was a leap to the rock face. This thing moved like a person speed climbing a wall at REI. There wasn't much light, but I've been back past that place many times. That face is rough, with many cracks, holes, and blasted areas. Hand and toe holds aplenty, but with the speed that thing covered, all of 60 feet rock face, it did instinctively, not searching for holds, nor looking around. It just flowed up and over and was gone. with a few folks scratching their heads and rubbing eyes. As an amateur rock climber / bouldering enthusiast, I cannot understand the speed and fluidity of that creature's climb. Defying gravity would be as close as I could say. That whole area is a hotbed or ground zero, to quote you. Desolation wilderness area, very close and not very far from where the Sierra sounds were recorded. Anyway, hope this makes it into the pile of emails you get. Thank you for your work, and blessings to you and Sarah and all the critters. Wow, that is one hell of a something to witness, man. Holy cow. Supernatural abilities, right? What we call supernatural abilities. Supernatural, I mean. The word supernatural. I just couldn't imagine seeing something like that. All right, listen, you. You got to sit down. You can't. You've got to be ready for a rest by now. We've been all over this mountain. Well, hold on a second. Not my lap. Hold on a minute. Ugh. Why do you want to sit on me, huh? Hey? Why do you want to sit on me? Look like a pillow to you? Hmm? Probably. All right. Now, I wonder how many more people that were in traffic that day are listening to all of us right now. And if they are, I hope they chime in. So I want to hear from them. I'm sure everybody else does too, especially there that day, right? Wow. What an incredible thing to witness. Okay. Oh, this is real long. I know I don't have enough space on that camera to read that one. This one's not too bad. This is titled Mind Speak, Sabe Encounters, and a Few Other Things. All right. Hi, Steve. I don't even know how I happened to come across your channel. It was one of those not by chance coincidences. But I have been watching you for quite some time, and I think you're phenomenal. Also, I absolutely love the outdoor footage. I know that there's many people who need to be heard, so I will make this as to the point and brief as possible. My hope is that my experiences help others piece together their puzzles. Since I was a young girl, I've known that there's more to this life than meets the eye. To me, otherworldly stuff is normal. When I listen to your viewers' letters, I feel so bad to hear that they think most people would disbelieve or ridicule them. Not me. I believe them. The truth is indeed stranger than fiction. For example, most of our sci-fi movies are based on fact. Nobody has convinced me that cryptids, angels, etc. are real. I know they are real. I don't know how I know, I just do. Steve, I used to love to play outside on my relative's farm in central Pennsylvania when I was 7 to 10 years old. They had 30 plus acres, but something happened to me behind the garage, which was adjacent to one of the thickest parts of the woods. I mentally blocked it out, and sadly, I am terrified of the forest now, especially at night. I'm not saying it's a Sasquatch related. I'm only saying that something traumatic happened to me that ruined my love for the outdoors from a young age. In an area nearby, we did see a very tall sabe when I was around 19 years old. I can't precisely say its height, but I would guess at least 7 to 8 feet tall. We were driving down a completely wooded, unpaved, small country road. It was dusk. Near the edge of the tree-lined road, he was standing half behind a tree, just staring at us as we drove by. I said he because he felt male. The stare was intense. I can still see his face in my mind after all these years. He had a surly look on his face. Our first thought was, look at that strange bear. But it wasn't until many years later that we realized what we'd actually seen. Mind speak. I have experienced it, but it wasn't from a sabe. This was a terrifying experience. When I was in my early 30s, around 7:50 a.m., I was driving to work on a main city road, and suddenly, from above my head, I heard a monotone, disembodied, deep male voice say, "Wreck the car." Steve, at that moment, my peripheral vision began to close in on me, and my sight was narrowing, as if I was entering a tunnel. I felt such dread and panic. Instinctively, I called out to Jesus to help me, and boom. Instantly, that constriction let go of me, and I heard a sucking sound as if a vortex just shut. It's hard to describe. It was less than 2 minutes from work, and I remember physically shaking from the whole experience. Who, what was that? Why did it happen? I have no idea. But my takeaway was the advice I have for everyone. Call on Jesus for protection. He will help you immediately. I use white light for a shield every day. One of your viewers wrote in about feeling shaky inside. I totally understand that. I've felt that before too. In my experience, it happened when I'm in between this world and the dream world, and sometimes if a spirit is around. For example, they may shake the bed or a couch to get attention, I don't know. But like you say, Steve, follow your intuition. If my gut feeling tells me to go left, I go left. My gut has never let me down, nor mine. Whether it's God or your guardian angel or whatever, it's always right. Follow it. It's a gift in this crazy, deceptive world. Also, I have seen multiple UFOs. I've had detailed alien dreams. I've seen orbs, especially after Mom passed. I've seen shadow people who didn't see me, thank God. I had another traumatic experience of something trying to pull my spirit out of my body, lose the struggle, and throw me back sideways. And I know that there are shapeshifters. I had one try to get me to leave with him when I was 21 years old. It was obvious he couldn't take me. He needed my consent to go with him. There's a pattern in that consent thing showing up. My mother was with me, and we saw two different people as he presented himself to us differently. I saw an older man, but she saw a younger guy, different hair color, even different car he had parked out back. Also, I dream lucidly every night, and I firmly believe there are other dimensions. I do think many of the Sabe are interdimensional. Oh, and another thing. My brother saw the invisible predator type thing go through the woods while he was driving down a country road. He lives in the woods, and when I was staying at his house in 2020 around 3:30 a.m., I went to close his back door after I woke up to go to the bathroom. I smelled a strong, rancid, skunky smell, and then I heard a clear whistle. That whistle sounded like it was right outside his door. From watching your channel, I knew right away who that was, and I felt immediate fear. I closed and locked his door. Steve, I realized that I could write a book, lol, but let me end this by saying, despite our corrupt, infiltrated governments and all the hidden truth, the truth is out there. More people are awake now, seeing through the lying media and searching on their own. Truth is power, and we are more powerful than we know. Life is what you make of it, and most people are good. I feel this in my soul, and the earth is absolutely beautiful. That's just one of the reasons I love watching your channel. I get to see fantastic landscapes and animals. Thank you for that, too. God bless you, Steve, and your family, and all your animals, and the whole Club of No Return family. Very sincerely, Bobby T. And all the best wishes and sincere thoughts back at you, Bobby. Appreciate you writing in. You know you're not alone. There is so many people who are in the same boat as you, experiencing all the same things multiple times, right? It's a pattern. It's just a solid pattern showing up here amongst all of the people, right? With all the other patterns that show up. This planet's a crazy place. It is a beautiful place. That's why I make sure I take my time and I go out in the real world, which is this right here. This is the real world. Then I share video clips from my life on these videos too. I showed a clip of a massive old grizzly bear, which is actually about, his demise was in place. His skull was rotting away from tooth decay, and the veterinarian told me that was his, he was on his way out. Anyway, that scene was in the real world out here. Handful of wackos emailed me showing their displeasure and distaste. This is my house, this is my life, and I live it in the real world, and hunting is a part of the real world. Offended culture is not supported here. I have zero respect for anyone in offended culture or who promotes and supports offended culture. I've made it clear numerous times, if you are a member of offended culture, this isn't a safe place for your ass, all right? And I will continue to share my experiences here on this channel from the real world, and the whole world's welcome to come into my house here with me. The door's wide open. But as soon as you start stinking up my house, you're gonna get booted out. How'd I get on that rant? I guess it was just a recent things been happening in the inbox with a couple. I thought we rubbed out all of the offended culture members. Holy cow, that's a big one right there. I don't think I have enough juice. because I want to stop and do a little more later on. This is just a quick break. This one's not too long. Let's share this one. This is titled My Story. Thanks again for sending that in. Appreciate you. Send in more knowledge if you got it for the people, all right? My story. Hi, Steve. I look forward to hearing a story from you every day and appreciate all that you've done in regards to this topic. I had an experience when I was younger that changed my life, even though it wasn't as frightening as the stories you share every day. Like most of those who share their stories with you, I'm an educated person with a master's degree, and I don't like to be told that I'm a liar. I know the truth, and I'm here to share my encounter. When I was 12 years old, I went to a Boy Scout camp in southwest Indiana. There was a small creek that ran along the camp that was used to obtain the canoeing merit badge. School buses were used to transport the scouts a few miles upriver. The route the bus took winded through the dense woods, sprinkled with cornfields here and there. Being antisocial, I sat by myself in the back of the bus. As I was looking out the window, we started to approach a large red barn, and I noticed a large black figure a few feet from the edge of a cornfield. As we got closer, the figure took one step into the cornfield and was completely out of sight as we passed by. I sat up in my seat to look around the bus to see if anyone else saw the same thing. Unfortunately, no one else did. Corn in Indiana can grow 8 to 9 feet, and this figure stood just a few inches lower than the top of the corn stalks. It was all black and was not a man. I know that for sure. I don't preactively share my story, but if someone asks, I'm not afraid to share it, and I know what I saw. I currently live in Utah and have driven all over the United States. I have many friends and family members that live in Bigfoot hotspots, Northern California, Oregon, Eastern Texas, Utah, and Idaho. I don't proactively look for these creatures, but I am always alert as I'm driving through or staying in these areas. I've always had a feeling that I would see another one of the damn things in the future, but definitely don't want to. I appreciate what you, Dave Pilatus, Scott Carpenter have done and appreciate your research and time. If there's anything I can do to help, please let me know. Thanks, Darren Peterson. Darren, you just did a whole pile of help just by being honest and sharing your experience here with everybody. That's huge. That's about all we need here, right? That's all we can get. We can't get much more than people coming here to share the truth. Sure, there's going to be the odd screwball that decides they need to email some kind of whack-out story, but big deal. You got to wade through the garbage to find the good stuff, right? Right, puppy? Oh, another quick mention, too. You know, I've said it a million times. I'm not big on pictures. I don't see what a lot of people see in pictures. And not very often, but a few times I've had people send in pictures, and I've just said flat out, well, I don't know, looks like a stump to me. Or some people send in what looks like an orb, and coincidentally, the green dot they see is the exact same one that I've had show up in my lens. And I've said, oh, I should try that again. It might be your lens, maybe, but I don't know. I wasn't there, and I don't know. And that's all I've said. That's all I can say. And the weird thing is how these people will go into an offended fit and rage and start basically almost online stalking me with nothing but vile shit to say to me because they're so insulted. I'm just damn you all to hell, and they just go off. It's a really weird thing to witness. Big deal. If I don't see what you are seeing in a photograph, it doesn't mean shit. Whatever I think doesn't mean shit. We're on our own ride. Take from me what you will or leave it. But I'm just being honest with what I see. Maybe I'm a dumbass. Maybe I'm blind as a bat. Maybe I'm not intelligent enough to see what some people are seeing in photographs. I don't know. Who knows? I'm just being honest. That's just me. But anyway, thought I'd add that in there because I've been getting a handful of emails and comments of insults from people who've sent in a couple photos, and I didn't quite see what they were seeing, and they went straight into offended, whacked out, I am frickin' mentally challenged world and unloaded on me. Uh-oh. Puppy climbed the first mountain. We got a ways to go to get back yet. She's gonna pass right out, isn't she? This is only day one. Anyway, I gotta get going. I gotta keep moving. I want to find some monster buck antlers in here somewhere. Puppy, you ready to go? She's out cold. Her ear's not even moving. Huh. All right. I'll stop again, see if I can't get a couple emails squeezed in on this. It's a GoPro I'm using right now. Oh, I'll be back shortly. We will be back shortly. Oh. Look at you. Look at you. Really? We got a whole mountain to climb back. All right.
Hey.
And that is a wrap on day one.
She's been in the truck for about, I don't know,
2 minutes?
tired big puppy dog. See you tomorrow.